Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Icon. Thank you so much for checking out another episode of Esports Analysis. Today, we are on board with PRESTINNI as he and the Chicago Huntsmen go to battle against the FaZe Academy team. Just real quick, if you're not following me on Twitter, make sure you go do that at IconNationYT. I got this tweet from Cade Soda that said, I would love for you to break down PRESTINNI's POV versus FaZe Academy on Rammaza. So that is what I'm doing. Sometimes I like to get a little bit of input. Sometimes I'll put out a poll and I'll let you guys decide what I'm going to break down, or I'll put out 3 or 4 maps, especially with this upcoming weekend. Of course, we have CDL Minnesota coming up. Actually, we're only a day away now, and most of the time I'll just go ahead, I'll say, do you want to see Hardpoint on this map or Dom on this map or the search or whatever. I'll let you guys poll, vote on it, and whoever ends up winning, whatever map and mode ends up winning, that's what I break down the next day. So with that, just make sure you go follow me there. As we are about to rotate from P1 to P2, it looks like Chicago has gotten the time inside of P1, but they've been unable to flip for P2. We'll see if we'll have more success with that as we go about heading into P2. But with that, as of late, I've been letting you guys listen in a little bit more to the team comms. So let's go ahead, let's turn it up. Of course, I'll break it down where I feel like there's something that really needs to be broken down. But let's go ahead, let's listen in.
Everyone flood till we get time.
Get back bathroom, get back bathroom.
Behind the bar.
H front down,
One
H
pinch,
front,
one
H front.
pinch.
Yo, one sandbags, one sandbags.
Sandbags dead, sandbags dead.
Thunder in. Or
I'm gonna try and get out, I'm gonna try and get out.
Let's go bottom mid together. Bottom mid to right, bottom
I
mid to
stuck
right.
up front.
To right.
Yeah, to right.
Absolute good job. Another one there.
Ever shot up.
Like I'm sliding out.
Sliding in.
He's in ammo, in ammo, in ammo. Front ammo, one shot dead. One bottom mid.
Let's go ahead with a death there. That makes a little break in the action. Let's go ahead. Let's break this down just real quick because I want to make sure that we're pointing out something. So as we're about to approach P2 right here, you notice that as PRESTINNI pushed, they pushed through sandbags. As soon as he did that, he threw a nade over top of this wall, was able to get a kill, and then he killed somebody also pinching them from behind. The most important thing here is that they spawned out, right? But when they spawned out, they were immediately able to flood this back spawn. And as soon as you're able to get back to this part of the map, then that immediately spawns FaZe Academy out over here towards ammo. So even though it was still a little bit of a challenge to finish those kills and get control of the hardpoint, all they had to do is just, once you get it flooded, then even if you die, right, even if Chicago gets inside of P2, it's contested, they end up dying, since they gain that much map control and they spawn FaZe Academy out, they're still going to spawn back here by P4. So really nice job of just being aggressive, flooding that back P4 spawn as a team and getting control of the hardpoint.
We're staying alive, Zag, right now, guys.
Sandbags.
Sandbags, Venom. He's hitting side. What the fuck, dude?
Come back. I got off Eddie.
Jim, I'm coming to you.
Jim moving old.
Yo, one's on tractor. He's pillars on you.
Bottom mid, they spawn. One side,
Bottom mid dead.
I just spawned 10 seconds.
I'm coming by right now. I'm on the back.
I spawned dirt.
I'm in ladder.
Hill, one shot. Hill's super weak.
I'm hitting the
Oh, I killed him. Another one bottom mid.
Yo, deep right. I'm
Bottom
one
mid,
honey.
pinching.
Back right hill. Pillars.
Deep right, absolute. Deep right pillars.
Back right hill.
To the left.
Got them both.
Back
Nice,
right
good
hill.
job. Bottom that time, guys.
Bottom mid, guys. Bottom mid.
I'm helping you, Matt.
Walk the back.
Bottom mid dead.
We're going tree,
Bottom mid. Left is open now. Left is open.
Yeah, I have
My
left,
bad.
I have
That's my bad.
Yo, one's left of me. I'm
nade in front of you.
stunning.
One
One more bottom mid. Journey.
Good plays out.
I don't really want to continue to... Man, I feel like we're seeing a trend here. This is like the second time that we've broken down Rammaza in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. And now we've seen this. This is becoming a habit, right? As Chicago has control of P2, as P2 is finishing, they're pushing P5. And when PRESTINNI died, he spawned back here, back alley. And they're just hitting this hard. He was able to get 2 kills back here. And their entire team is hitting P3 from the bottom side of the map. This is becoming something we're seeing almost every single Rammaza on rotation from P2 to P3. And they're successful at doing it again. We'll see as we get into the second set of rotations if we get that far, if we see it again. But now it's starting to become a trend a little bit.
Bottom mid truck. On the truck. Dead. One shot.
You're dead.
Another one, alley.
Let's go right. There's going left.
Super weak.
Yeah, I gave up left. Then.
Your left.
Left absolute, pillars. There's
Let's
two
go
pillars.
trade to third, guys. I'm going trade.
Go on.
Yeah,
I go
one more
next.
week, Journey.
I have your
gonna
front,
be
I
on
have
me
your
right
front, I
now.
have your front, I have your front.
I spawned in the back.
Oh wait, I'm giving you up, I'm giving you up. Oh, we spawned there, sorry. They know I'm out.
One's
They
in
know
there,
I'm
one's in
out.
there,
Right?
one's in there, one's in there.
I think.
Is he?
I don't see him.
Zig.
Zig,
new,
Zig,
one's in
Zig,
new.
dead.
Another one, Alex. Another one.
One shot top rows.
Let me know when to spawn. Let me know when to spawn if I can.
1 second. He's front hill, dude.
spawned
I'm
P2, we
just laying
spawned
down.
P2.
I spawn here yet.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
just
one's
laying down. Look
Zig dead.
at smoked.
I'm pitching hill right now.
Yo, I'm going to pinch far front.
I'm gonna work
Run
front.
rugs.
I'm gonna
Dead,
work
one
front.
time.
You should
Rugs
go
spawn,
right.
rugs
You
spawn,
should go
rugs
right.
Yo, Dylan, I'm
first.
following
Yeah, I
you.
got you.
Top flat looking for you, dead.
I'm in rugs. I'm rugs right now. I'm making him spawn out. I'm making him spawn out.
Just watch.
Go
Yeah,
there.
paint,
Go there.
paint,
Come
paint.
paint with me, so go C3 and watch the back, alright?
Go.
Real quick, we'll break this down because this is a pretty heady play here from PRESTINNI. We just saw that essentially after P3, a lot of them were able to sneak out and get into P4, get control of P4, get that back spawn. As PRESTINNI left P3, he came over here kind of towards top plat, and as he was doing that, the rest of Chicago was spawning back on P4. So what does he do? He hits mid, he hits them from behind, and now he gets a pinch from behind. The other thing that does is now look at his map position, right? So we know exactly where Chicago is spawning. They're spawning by P4, and they have control of the hill, and PRESTINNI's here. So when he says, I'm going to spawn them out, obviously, if Chicago's spawning on the left side over here, then FaZe Academy can't be spawning on this side because PRESTINNI's there. So that's going to force them to spawn out over towards ammo. And now the last 40 seconds of this P4 hardpoint should be pretty easy for Chicago to control. Let's see if that's the way that it works itself out.
Yeah, I'm holding rugs. I'm holding rugs.
Back door.
Yeah, it could be back.
Coming rugs on me. They're coming rugs on me.
Yeah, front door.
I see it back
One
door, I
shot,
see it
front
back
door.
door.
There's two.
Back
One
door.
more.
Back door, one shot, Venom.
Going to the back of new.
He's on me.
Shit.
Venom in the back, Venom in the back.
Front, Zib.
We're
Front.
spawning back
There's two here, guys.
Drugs.
Good job, Presley. Good job. I'm going front.
Top
Top.
lane,
Top
dead.
guys.
I'll turn off front.
Going rugs.
Plat just flew at me. He's
He's me
pillars.
pillars.
Pillars
I give
fast.
rugs.
Push up
There's
front,
another
push
kid
up
bottom mid somewhere.
There's
Pillars is dead. Pillars
There's
dead.
one more,
Nice.
one more, one
Big
more.
on the head, big on the head.
There's one more back here,
He had the back,
100%.
he had the back.
I killed.
He's
He's in the
top
back.
right,
He's in
top right,
barber.
top right.
Barber on me. Barber on me. Barber on me.
Trying to help you, Barber. I'm going to the
I
back.
heard him.
guys.
I heard him. I
There,
heard
there's
him.
one. I spawned front. I'm
Think
going.
I heard him.
I'm backing up.
One's
How
pillar,
many-
one's pillar.
That's a
Down
body
the head,
squad.
down the head,
Yeah,
down
tree
the head.
door.
Pillars.
Tree door, one shot.
Yeah, three in the back, guys.
In back alley. Deep back, nice. More deep back. I'm laying down, Alex.
Yo, pinching
Throw
behind
it,
me.
throw it, throw it,
Yeah,
throw it.
they pinched.
Deep fight.
One's dark. Absolute.
I'm going back.
He's front ammo.
Two,
One's back door hill. Back door
My
hill.
bad, again,
Right,
front.
you're good, you're good. Two and hill, 2 and hill. One's close right.
I can block.
Got one hill.
Top
Dead.
rows,
Top
top
rows,
rows.
top rows.
No, front door. Front door.
Front window, her.
We spawn deep.
Lane down, late.
Top rows,
Close
push out
left.
flat. Top rows, push out flat. One's in barber. Two guys right back. Shit, fuck me.
I'm going back.
Yo,
alley,
one's
Alec.
flat, one's flatter in
Yeah,
here.
one's
back
rows.
alley.
Hey,
One's
you
rows.
got me.
Yeah, renew.
I think that's the first guy. First guy Venom.
Yeah, first guy.
Yeah, he's hurt. Outer plat.
Eddie.
He can
Dead.
be
Dib,
construction.
Sib. Yeah,
No in front of old. Front of old.
Paint, dead.
I shoot up.
I made him go
Nice.
back in
there
there.
too. Sib on new. Sib on new.
One old two. So
Okay,
there's
side.
only two if
Yo,
anything.
More gravity. Okay, I guess three.
I'm going top plat. I'm going top plat.
Yo,
Hey, good job,
rugs
good
again,
job.
rugs again right now. Rugs.
We
Hey,
play
anybody
out. We
rugs?
play outer hill.
Rugs,
I'm flanking rugs, guys. I'm flanking rugs. I'm
Low
flanking
dirt,
rugs.
Rugs is hurt.
Low
Listen,
dirt.
listen.
Go for PT on
Got one
my
rugs.
I think you're dirt.
Two more rugs. Two more rugs.
Journey's
One's
dirt,
weak.
Journey's dirt.
Spawn there?
PRESTINNI might have wanted to
That's
play
one right,
a
that's
little
one down
bit more
right, it's one
patient
down
there.
right.
If he just waits another 5 seconds or so, he probably gets a
Flanking
triple
plat,
kill from
flanking plat.
behind. But still, I like the idea.
What do you want? Rugs dead.
Good job, I'm pushing in there.
I have to reload.
One
Outer
shot.
hill.
One zig on me. Two zig. Two zig. Two top plat. Two
You're
top plat. Two top plat.
Help over hill. Help over hill. Help over hill.
Yeah, I gave up pinch. I gave up bottom
I'm
pinch.
gonna.
I have right. Yo, hold spawns.
I have a trophy.
Sandbags.
Yo,
Hold
what
spawns,
is
guys.
that?
Hold spawns.
Yeah, rugs.
I'll kill plat. I'll kill
Narrow
plat.
bullet.
Rugs dead. Rugs dead. Last guy's hill. Last guy's hill.
He's behind the boxes in
Nice.
there.
Lady rugs.
Pushing inside, pushing inside.
Yo, they're spawning right. There, one's rugs. Rugs weak. Rugs weak. He's went top plat. He's going middle. Yeah, right there. Nice. No one.
You got me, I'm saying now.
Yo, I think
Good.
one's
Hit him.
I'm
Undo
helping
that
you. I'm
hill.
helping you, Dylan. I got you, Dylan. Stay down. Yo, get half wall. Someone get half wall.
I'll get out.
Front.
I'm
Weak.
gonna go ahead and
Alright.
pause this real quick because I'm seeing something that could end up hurting them in the end. I'm not saying that it would, but against a really good team. So let's go ahead. Let's call this out here. As Chicago has control of P1, obviously they're getting this back P4 spawn. You've seen PRESTINNI come up and spawn there. And a lot of times he's pushing out and he's hitting their flank from behind, right? So the reason why he's doing that, this is the exact kind of same thing that we talked about with P4, is because Atlanta Academy is spawning here and trying to get to P1 that way. Now, against a good team, say this was like Simp and Abizi and Celium and Priesta and Major Maniac, so say this was like the normal Atlanta squad, let's say Atlanta pushes P1 and they get control of P1. Then they push out and they overtake the spawn. Well, if they get 4 down, PRESTINNI's now where? PRESTINNI's spawning on, he's over on this right-hand side of the map. So if whoever is spawning on the right is able to push through P1 and get those kills and overtake that spawn, that essentially is going to take Chicago and they're going to spawn them on the bottom side of the map. And with the all-important P2 hardpoint coming up, that would be a really big mistake, right? So I like that I'm seeing him do it because it just puts a pinch and a lot of pressure on the current hardpoint, but it does have the potential to backfire. Let's get back in.
Dude,
We have
I
it,
can't
we have it, we have it.
Oh, fuck me.
Absolute,
You guys
dude.
hear him? I'm in the
I
back.
spawned way out. I spawned way out.
Siblings, one shot.
Yeah, man,
He's
you
going
win
to
that.
I got 2 new.
Sandbag.
I feel like I-
Nice, nice.
Dub.
All right, they're spawning. They're spawning dub. They're spawning dub. Spawning dub hard.
I got one.
I got another one dub.
Yo, I'm gonna pitch with Dill. I'm gonna pitch with Dill.
Yeah,
Flood.
Back, back.
Side door, weak. Jimbo.
One's dub. Dub dead.
Side door. Sib weak.
Low dub.
Dub dead.
Nice
I
dub.
hit
Should
dub.
flip. Should flip. Should flip.
I'm one in the back.
Yeah.
Alright, flip.
We flip.
Yo, dub dead.
Absolute bottom middle.
Nading front.
Jump
He
over.
hit bottom mid. He hit bottom mid.
Hear you. Bottom mid. 2 bottom mid. 1 bottom mid. 1
I need in
top.
front of you, Preston.
Put in. Get more front.
Top mid and half wall. Side wall. Side.
That's my
Absolute,
bad.
Nice. Top mid.
Nice.
Gave it up for a second.
You guys can get out right. You guys can get out right.
Another one bottom mid.
Nice.
Absolute.
Next.
Top.
Good job.
Again.
Yeah, ammo.
You hitting it?
Yeah, two hitting goal, two hitting goal.
Helping you, old Matt.
Both weak.
One's top plat, I think.
One's weaker than
Three
the other one.
there.
Big dead.
Good job.
I have right control. I have right control. I have right
We
control.
spawn rogues. I spawn.
Holding right.
Oh,
Rotate
dude.
over right.
Well, we just spawned ammo.
Yo, top pot.
Pat weak, Jimbo.
What?
Dibs behind us.
Oh,
Get
man.
Watch out, Steph.
You guys
One
can
shot.
get back right. Go back right.
Back
I'm
right
dead.
there.
No one back.
Ammo.
What do we say? First set of rotations as it rotated from P2 to P3. What are you noticing? PRESTINNI, who was holding sandbags, went through bottom plat, got into P5, and said he's holding right. As soon as Chicago left P2, where is their entire team pushing? Bottom side of the map as they're trying to flank out and get behind for P3. It's becoming a trend as this rotates from P2 to P3.
Ammo.
Yeah.
Fuck me, I'm gonna die.
Ammo.
Ammo dead.
Okay, I got
Spawn here.
random.
Spawn. Go to the back. Go to the
Go to the back.
back.
Everyone play for this time. Play for
Back
this
right.
How about
They know we're here. They know we're here.
Taylor,
Jimbo.
dead.
I'm going to the back.
Go. Alright, one in hill, one
They
middle.
spawned out. They
time.
spawned
We're
out.
back door. Back door.
Back door.
Back door after that.
Back door dead.
Some
This
pillars.
time. Good
One
tree
pillar,
door.
one pillar,
I have
one
tree. I
pillar.
have tree.
Two
No,
pillars.
I don't have a fucking. I have
Front door, I think too.
a. You
Running
have
out
a
for
smoke
you?
still or no?
I don't.
Native.
Alright, we just got the big dick shit.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
out.
we're top right.
Side door.
Trap pillars,
Fine, I'm here,
one
I'm
pillar.
Rug's dead.
I'm bottom green. I went bottom rugs. I'm bottom
We
rugs.
played for that heavy. We got that. We flipped. I'm going top three.
Top
I
plat.
didn't flip.
And one's bottom rows.
Bottom rugs?
Yeah. Or no,
Top
top
rugs.
rugs. You went
Top
top rugs.
rugs. Two top rugs. How much
Yeah,
time?
me and Dylan are out. 3 seconds. 3 seconds.
Rug's dead.
They stay
One's in
back
new.
door.
In new.
That's one
Oh.
left. He's on left. Ready.
In new week. In new week. Nice.
More pot, I think, guys. Pot it.
Don't hold back doors.
Go cat together. Go
Pot weak,
cat.
find it.
Front door.
Rugs,
Nothing back door.
They spawn ammo. They're coming out spawning already.
No one top plat. Top plat.
I spawned it back.
Top plat. 1 dirt. Top plat and dirt. Top plat and dirt.
I'm named front door.
Okay, my
We're spawning P2.
Be your dirt.
Yeah, they might have
Looks
spawned.
like with just a few seconds left, Atlanta Academy is not going to be able to get in. So that's going to be a 250 to 130 victory there for Chicago. I will say over the course of this scrim, it was pretty even. The Hackney and the Gunrunner went to FaZe Academy. The Azir Cave and the Rammaza ended up going to Chicago. So it was pretty even throughout. Let's go ahead and take a look at the scoreboard here. So the Twins, ARCITYS and PRESTINNI, 32 and 16, 32 and 19. Really nice map for those two. If you look at the bottom, Journey -10, Jimbo -11, Gravity -8, Venom -10. So overall, FaZe Academy just didn't get the slaying done on this map. And if there's one thing that really sticks out to me on this matchup is the fact that Chicago is getting really good at controlling P2 and breaking P3 from the bottom side of the map. Let's see if that comes into play as CDL Minnesota is now just a day away. Speaking of that, I go ahead, I break down the bracket, storylines, the matchups, all that stuff, 7 a.m. of the actual day. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and you're here for that content. Any comments whatsoever on this one, go ahead, leave them below. I love the interactions, having a conversation with you guys and getting back to you. Leave a like before you head on the way. It really helps out the channel. And with that, thank you so much, guys. I will catch you in tomorrow's upload.